is working to establish secure corridor to evacuate both injured and uninjured survivors to Ghana's mission in Ouagadougou. Also tonight, Education Ministry directs Ghana Education Service to expedite investigations into attacks on teachers at West Africa Senior High School WASS. Later in the bulletin, relief for students of colleges of education-CETAG as lecturers resume work after months of being on strike will engage the president of the union. Details of these and more in the next 60 minutes. Before that, Noura Mohammed is here with the latest in the world of summaries. Noura, take us away.
Good evening. This is the news summaries on Hot Edition. First in the summaries. Former presidential staff Dennis Miracles Abwaje has said that it must be on record that the Ghanaian cocoa farmer is poorer today than he has ever been in the last 12 years. He makes the point that the cost of managing and maintaining an acre of cocoa farm has increased from an average of 10,250 Ghana cedis to 12,650 Ghana cedis, a net cost increase of 2,400 Ghana cedis. Ironically, he said the total income from an acre of cocoa farm for the farmer has reduced from 31,000 Ghana cedis in 2024 to 25,870 cedis in 2026. Meanwhile, the Ghana National Fire Service has strongly cautioned the public against fuel siphoning. The service reminded the public that fuel siphoning is illegal and extremely dangerous and urged the public to stay away from accident scenes involving flammable substances and to immediately alert emergency services. The fire service said this after explaining the cause of the deadly fire incident that involved a petrol tanker carrying 54,000 litres of fuel at signboard near Okanta off the Accra and Sawam Highway in the early hours of Saturday, February 14, 2026. Still on fires, a fire outbreak at Sershi Adjoafua in the Bia West district on Saturday 14th February 2026 has destroyed a two-bedroom, one-kitchen residence, claiming the life of 70-year-old visually impaired Kwesi Nkansa, the Ghana National Fire Service has said. The fire also damaged several household items. A statement issued by the fire service said the firefighters from the Debiso fire station responded promptly to the domestic fire outbreak. The service also said it received a distress call at 2 o'clock and crews arrived at the scene at 2:30 under challenging conditions caused by heavy rainfall, poor visibility and bad road networks. Meanwhile, the Accra Circuit Court has ordered a businessman in his 60s to pay 200,000 Ghana cedis in compensation to his former lover in a case of breach of promise to marry. The case, which started as a suit for an ejectment order against the woman, ended with the court finding a breach of promise to marry and the imposition of a constructive trust over an East Legon property. The case, presided over by Justice Sedinam Kwadam, detailed a dispute stemming from an 11-year amorous relationship between 2013 and 2024. The businessman had sued his former lover, seeking an order to eject her from a two-bedroom apartment within a 6-unit property owned by the plaintiff at East Legon. And finally, the Sofa Line underpass, once feared for its poor lighting and rising security concerns, is now enjoying a new sense of safety after an intervention led by students of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, lit up the tunnel. For months, the underpass had become a hotspot for criminal activity due to persistent darkness, discouraging many pedestrians from using the facility. Reports of muggings, attacks and harassment was common in the tunnel, forcing many pedestrians to risk crossing the busy Sofa Line Abuakwa Road instead of using the underpass. Over to you, Grace.
Thank you so much, Noura, for the updates. My colleague Noura Mohammed bringing us the updates. Now, let's get into the details of the stories now. The bodies of 7 Ghanaian traders killed in a terrorist attack in Titao, northern Burkina Faso, have been laid to rest. Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mubarak, disclosed that the victims were buried in Burkina Faso after their bodies were burnt beyond recognition and had been decomposing. He said authorities were compelled to proceed with the burial due to the deteriorating condition of the remains. The attack occurred last Saturday in Titao and involved a group of 18 Ghanaian tomato traders and truck drivers. 7 men were killed in the incident. 3 men sustained injuries while 1 woman remains in critical condition. Others escaped with minor injuries. Burkina Faso's military is reportedly working to establish a secure corridor to evacuate both injured and uninjured survivors to Ghana's mission in Ouagadougou, after which arrangements will be made for their return to Ghana. The attack adds to the growing concerns about insecurity in part of Burkina Faso, where militant violence continues to pose risk to civilians and cross-border traders. Let's say while on this, Dr. Victor Doke is a security consultant and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Doc, thank you for your time tonight. What does this attack tell us about the current security situation in northern Burkina Faso, particularly in areas where cross-border trade operates?
Well, thank you very much. So with regards to this particular attack, it tells us that in every jurisdiction where we have activities of extremists, where the local government is virtually absent, it tells you these elements operate. They know the modus operandi of every activity in that area, including those who come in to trade and those who come in for tourist purposes or whatever. So the onus now lies in the host government, the state institution in Burkina Faso, to provide security, provide assistance to traders, to tourists, or whoever comes in to do business. Because then if that is not done, it also affects the local economy in that area. We're talking about traders coming in, as we had our traders coming in, but unfortunate incident. How do they grow their local economy? For the citizens in that area to be self-sufficient, so you wouldn't have activities of extremists, in that quantum, because the lack of self-sufficient or self-sustenance activities, economic activities, means that there is no job for the people in that area. So it affects the growth, the development growth in that area. Hence, these extremists will find it very easy to operate in those areas. So I think we need to liaise with the Burkina Faso agency, the state security, to provide a safe haven for traders in the near future.
Doc, so does it paint the picture that Ghanaian traders are specifically being targeted, or are they becoming collateral victims of broader militant and criminal activity in the Sahel region?
In the scenarios you put it, I see it from this point of view. Now, when it comes to terrorism, there is no sort of identification of who belongs to who and who belongs to this party, so I don't want to attack. Once you find yourself in a territory of an extremist, whatever activity or whatever crime they want to commit per the agenda, they will have to do it. Now, this also will be done to send a signal to other nationals that coming into this territory means what? Trouble for you. It's unfortunate this has happened, but we take the lessons out of this. Now, what are state, officials going to do about it? The coordination to identify even the bodies which has been buried already, for the families hereof to also have their funeral rights. It's very important. We're talking about compensation and whatever which will come up. All these things will have to be negotiated, and then the families will have to demand answers as to what is going to happen, burial, compensation, anything of that sort. But by and large, embassies in these areas where extremist activities are very rampant should now be willing to liaise with information with regards to activities of Ghanaian traders or even foreign nationals coming into that domain. And this is where the Office of the Special Envoy for the Presidency, Colonel Bevolate, comes in. His role is very essential in this particular incident, to liaise with officials of these Sahelian states to now make sure that foreign nationals, not only Ghanaians who come into their domain, would have protection to go about their duties and then trade effectively.
Doc, and you just mentioned protection. How vulnerable or protected are Ghana's northern border communities to spillover threats from instability in Burkina Faso?
I think with regards to that, state authorities have put in a lot of effort. We see what is happening in the northern part with the field operation bases that have been established by the state through the Ghana Army, the exercises. It's unfortunate. The Accra Initiative is somewhat not existent at this moment because you have the 3 Sahelian states who are opting out. But apart from that initiative, what else can we do, okay, to, open that door, keep that avenue for exchange of information with regards to violent extremism is very key. And that is one of the reasons why the Office of the Special Envoy to the Sahelian states was established. So now, how do we make that office very vibrant? Okay, if it needs more resources, more capacity building, what do we have to do in that regard? So I think with regards to the spillovers, we are sure that our men in uniform will be able to curtail and curb any kind of incidents pertaining to that.
The Ghana-Burkina Faso tomato trade or any other forms of trade has been there for a while, and it's not going away anytime soon. In the face of all of these attacks and insecurities, what immediate security measures should Ghana implement to protect its citizens who engage in these cross-border trade in high-risk areas?
This will be very challenging. So now, how will the officials in Burkina Faso, the Ghana embassy officials in Burkina Faso, ensure that if the traders, as if they are even willing to come in, the safe areas where they can trade, if the officials in Burkina also can also provide somewhat protection? So it all means that there has to be a collaboration between our officials there and then the state security in Burkina Faso to ensure that not only Ghanaians but foreign nationals come in and trade safely. So if there's going to be a new location identifier for the goods to be, bought and all of that, I think it should be done. Now, education on our part, those of us who trade beyond borders, what do we need to know about the area we are going to? So it means frequent information has to come in with regards to activities in those areas that we trade in. So we know when to go in and when not to go in. But this is very unfortunate. So I think we need to be very proactive in this sense now, and then, up our emergency preparedness.
Right, Doc, thank you so much for talking to us. Dr. Victor Doctor is a security consultant and the lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, talking to us about that terrorist attack at Burkina Faso where seven Ghanaian traders have been killed. The latest is that they have been laid to rest according to Islamic tradition, and the Minister for Interior, Muntaka Mubarak, says the victims were buried in Burkina Faso after their bodies were burnt beyond recognition and have begun decomposing. Rather unfortunate there, but let's do some other stories now and do education stories now, because the students of colleges of education across the country have begun returning to campus after nearly 3 months of closure. This follows the decision by the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CETAG, to call off its nationwide strike effective today. CETAG declared a strike on November 4, 2025, citing the government's failure to fully implement a binding arbitral award by the National Labour Commission and to address outstanding entitlement owed to members. These included year-round work compensation, book and research allowance arrears, and research top-up payment. The industrial action halted academic activities across all 46 colleges of education, leaving students without lecturers for nearly 3 months. In a statement announcing the suspension of the strike, CETAG described the decision as a good show of faith after government released funds to cover key outstanding entitlements, including year-round work compensation, book and research allowance arrears, as well as certain research top-up payment. Let's go on the phone and talk to the president of the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana, Nanija Divine. Nanija, thank you for making time to talk to us. How are students coping with the academic disruption caused by the nearly 3-month strike, and what immediate concerns the trainees have as they return to campus?
So thank you so much, and good evening to your listeners. On the side of us, the students, in fact, we are very happy. We are very happy that the strike has been suspended, and as we speak, we are back to campus, and we have started academic work today. I've been able to visit some of the colleges, and I'm happy that lectures are ongoing, and majority of the students as well are in school, going about the academic work. So we are very happy that the strike has been suspended finally.
Do you know whether there's going to be some form of special arrangement so that you can catch up with the instructional time that you've lost because of the strike?
Oh, yes. That is what we are also advocating as an association, because it will be prudent the lost period is recovered. So we are looking forward to see how possible that will be on the side of Prinkoff. For this particular strike like this is not the first time. Normally when it happens, when the strike is called off, they have their way of adjusting their academic calendar or the timetable for lectures in order to recover the lost period. And it is our belief that the same thing will be done, and the 4 weeks, let's say the 4 weeks that they have not been lectured as a result of the strike, they will be able to recover that to help the students.
And beyond the resumption of lectures, what assurances are students seeking to ensure that future actions do not significantly disrupt the academic progress?
Yeah, so for us as an association, we have issued a communique on that already, telling them that there is a need we report with a focus, because looking at how things are going, maybe it is not likely we may experience the 14 weeks, or we may have the 14 weeks that we are supposed to have, because 4 weeks of the 14 weeks are already wasted because of the strike. So now that we are back to campus, it becomes so necessary that we take our studies very serious, and we shouldn't wait for maybe you say we have class before we go to learn, or we go and have our own studies. So there is a need we take our books serious, and that has been the motivation, or that has been the word that we are giving to them. And I believe so well that at the end of the day, we'll be able to achieve whatever that we are supposed to achieve, regardless of the challenges that we are facing at the moment.
Nanija, so I'll have you hold the line for me. We also have Maxwell Bunu, he's president of CETAG, also joined the conversation. Mr. Bunu, you just heard from Nanija, and he says that they are looking at a special arrangement so that they can make up for the lost time. Given the nearly 3 months disruption, what is CETAG's position on how the lost academic time should be recovered without overburdening the lecturers and students as well?
Thank you, my dear sister, and good evening to your listeners and your listeners. I would like to see this opportunity, first of all, to thank the Minister for Education for the effort that he has made in resolving 3 of the issues out of 5, and also wish him speedy recuperation from the recent accident he got involved in. Regarding the issue that you have raised, for me to respond, I think I've kept saying that as lecturers, we are masters of our own game, and we have been there before, and we've been able to manage the situation. Since the students have lost on time, we are very much aware of this, and we'll be liaising with GTEC, Prinkoff, and make up for those lost time. The timetables are out, lectures have begun in earnest, and we would look at the normal timetable and see how best we can meet them, also possibly in the evenings. After all, the students are in a boarding facility, so we can always arrange to meet them in the evening as well, and possibly also have some online interaction should a lecturer be engaged or had to travel for some workshop or whatever. We'll manage and make sure that these times are utilized efficiently to the benefit of the students, so that they do not, that they are not affected in any way.
Nanija, are you still on the line?
Yes, please.
Right, so you just heard Mr. Bunu's proposal. You're looking at extra classes, some online, as well as even in the evenings. Are students open to this? Hi, Nanija, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. So I was saying that Mr. Bunu says that they're looking at extra classes, some online, and also maybe an extension of the instructional hours. Are students open to these proposals from CETAG?
All right. So thank you once again. That's what I said earlier, that this is not the first time that we are experiencing challenges for the students. But as students,
some
of the.
Danija, we'll have to connect with you again because it looks like we are losing you on the line. Mr. Bunu, whilst you're there and you can hear me, you earlier mentioned that government has resolved 3 out of 5 of the issues you were looking forward to solving. So,
I'm online. I can hear her.
Does this mean all of your demands have been fully met? You just mentioned that you have resolved 3 out of 5. Are we likely to see you go back on strike if these 2 are not also met?
Well, my dear sister, I think, as you are aware, in our strike notice, we have 5 issues. And the minister has been able to, the government, together with the minister, of course, it's part of the government, they have managed to release funds for the payment of the all-year-round work compensation for additional duties performed in 2022. They've also funds for the payment of 2022 research top-up allowance for Akokere College Education, and as well as our 2023-24 book and research allowance, arrears. So these are the monies that they are currently paying. The various colleges are doing that. Our colleagues who have been downgraded, of course, experienced colleagues that have taught in the college for 20-25 years, and also our book and research allowance for 2022-23. Those are the 2 issues that are currently outstanding. GTEC has some disagreement with us, so we have reported that matter to National Labour Commission, the body mandated to mediate on such matters. So the documents that they require from us to submit, we have done that, and they are going through, and according to them, they will give a ruling on the 2 issues. So we are waiting for them to provide that ruling, and that will determine the way forward. I'm sure they will go in our favor, and we expect that the government will take the necessary step to do the needful. We are not strike happy. It is only when they push us to the wall, issue that they needed to resolve quickly, they keep dragging their feet. That's why we resort to the ultimate, which is the strike action. CETAG members are not strike happy.
So, on that tangent, critics argue that recurrent strikes in the colleges of education system are harming teacher training standards. How do you respond to concerns that your actions are becoming too frequent? Every now and then, CETAG is on strike, and it's not even for maybe a week or 2. It goes into months.
Yeah, that's what I just said, that, my sister, we as members of CETAG, we are not strike happy. The question one should be asking is, what is causing the lecturers or the association to embark on strike? I think we need to find answers to that question. You know, the leaves of the tree will not shake for nothing. It is when the wind gets into them that you find the leaves shaking. Is that not right?
Yeah, that's how we say it.
So it means that there's something that is causing us to do what we are doing. We have won an arbitral award from National Labour Commission. And the Commission's ruling is binding on any government. Not even the Supreme Court can overturn NLC's arbitral awards. So it is just prudent that once the government is made known that an award has been given from NLC, they take steps to actually resolve all the issues. But they will take one, resolve it, and the rest will be hanging. As I say with you, if we had wanted to take an entrenched position, the student will continue to suffer because the 3 issues that have been resolved, the remaining 2 are still outstanding. We could have stayed on strike and said, look, we're not going to suffer until we resolve those ones as well. But we also thought about the student and the economic effect that will have on our members as well. So we decided to come back to work while those 2 issues are resolved, because we do not know exactly when NLC is going to conclude on its work. But we are hopeful that in no time it will come. The ruling will come out. So it is the effect we know. So if government is aware about the effect, then they should not wait until we get to this point, my sister.
Right,
Before this strike, I have gone through almost all the major ministries. The Ministry of Education, both the minister, the deputy, the Minister for Employment and Labor Relations. I went there. I went to the Minister of Finance, trying to use dialogue so that diplomacy, so that we have this issue resolved. Nobody seems to be listening. When I couldn't make any, we have to now finally call on the chairman for the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education, Honorable Peter Mochikote, the MP for Akachinov. And they all promised to intervene. At the end of the day, nothing, absolutely nothing happened. So eventually, we're tired of running from one office to another, and we have to resort to the ultimate, that is the strike.
The strike.
So it is, so it is not our making, my dear sister.
Right. So what assurances did government give you this time to prevent the recurrence of this situation?
Well, the Minister for Education, what he told us when we met him on 25th of November was that he was going to immediately find solution to the three issues, that is the funds, which finally they have released for payment, and that he will need some time to look at the other two issues. But because we believe that we have legitimate concerns, we decided not to take the law into our own hands and then presented them before NLC, because the regulator who should have collected data on the 2023, and they know very well that when you have an academic year 2022-2023 and you have recruited a lecturer in 2023, the fact that that lecturer has not taught in 2022, you don't pay that lecturer in 2022. However, you use what we call pro rata method, calculating from the time that the lecturer started working up to the end of the academic year. This is not rocket science. GTech is aware, Professor Agyemang is aware. They know this. They all know it. Any lecturer in university can find out from them. So CETAG is not asking for something that does not exist. So we have put this before the NLC to intervene, because GTech refused to collect data on that arrears. So we are only hoping that they do the needful so that we do not get back to where we were before.
Right. Mr. Bunu, thank you for talking to us. We have been engaging Maxwell Bunu. He is president of the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana. Divine, I hear we have you back on the line.
All right, madam, thank you.
Yes, so I was asking that Mr. Bunu has mentioned a number of interventions to put in place so that students make up for the lost time. How are students open to these?
All right, so that's what I said earlier, that this is not the first time that we are experiencing strike in the colleges of education or in the college system. So right now, as an association, we are working closely with PRINCOF, who is in charge of coming out with the academic calendar for the year. And we believe that now that the strike is over, whatever calendar that will come out, it will be in favor of both the lecturers and as well as the students, so we'll be able to cope with them.
Association of Ghana. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Still staying on the issues of education, the Ministry of Education has directed the Ghana Education Service to expedite investigations into the recent attacks on teachers at West African Senior High School WASS. According to the ministry, the investigations are expected to be concluded within the next 2 weeks to ensure that those responsible are brought to justice and to restore calm and order within the academic environment. Attacks on teachers across the country appear to be escalating, raising fresh concerns about safety within Ghana schools. Just last year, a group of students in Kede assaulted a teacher over claims that he prevented them from copying during the WASS examinations. Following public outcry and comments by President Mahama, the Ghana Police Service arrested the students who were prosecuted and fined. On February 13 this year, a similar incident occurred at West Africa Senior High School WASS, where a student is alleged to have mobilized thugs to attack teachers on campus. The incident has since sparked widespread anger among Ghanaians and education stakeholders, with many calling for the immediate arrest and prosecution of those involved. Press Secretary to the Minister of Education, Hashim Mohammed, says the Ghana Education Service has commenced investigations, assuring that prosecution of the perpetrators will begin in earnest once inquiries are concluded.
This is a matter that has come to the attention of the Honorable Minister, and then the Honorable Minister has directed the management of the Ghana Education Service to look into the matter. The Ghana Education Service have their own code of conduct, and the code of conduct stipulates or spells out the kind of punishment that should be meted out to students or any teacher or any other person in the education value chain system whenever that person misconduct him or herself. And that issue has been of a great concern to the Education Ministry. Assault in itself is a criminal offense, and because assault is a criminal offense, you yourself, you have realized that in all the assault cases, the police have moved in, and the police have been working with the ministry to get to punish the perpetrators of this act. One example is the Kede incident.
Exactly.
You know what really happened. It traveled even to the court, and then those students were punished for those actions. So it is something that the Ministry of Education frowned upon. I think that going forward, there have been a lot of proposals looking at the guidance and counseling unit of the various school. Is this something that is missing there? If because the guidance and counseling unit, if they are not doing their work very, very well, then it means that it means that we need to retool them or give them fresher courses to be able to take their work very, very well, because the campuses, as you see them, are citadels for molding characters. Sure. And if they are citadels for molding characters, we cannot allow few truant ones to displace or destabilize students who want to pursue their academic credentials to the higher level. So it is something that we at the Ministry of Education, we are not sleeping. The minister has directed the Ghana Education Service to crack the whip as far as assault on teachers are concerned, and that is why you are seeing the police, you are seeing students being punished, and then teachers too who also misconduct themselves are being punished, and it is something we will not tolerate it. Like I told you,
You've been hearing the press secretary of the Education Ministry, Hashim Mohammed, talking about the directive by the ministry for the Ghana Education Service to expedite investigations into the recent attacks on teachers at the West African Senior High School, WASS. Let's bring in Adokoi Awule. He is Vice President of the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana. Mr. Awule, thank you for your time tonight. We keep talking about this menace, the attack on teachers by students and others, and yet it keeps happening. What are we missing?
Thank you very much, and good evening to all your listeners. I think, as you have said, it's been one too many, and it seems the more we complain, the more directives are given, then the thing is rather escalating to this level, where hooligans will sit on motorbikes, go to the school and clap teachers down. I think we should now get to know that the school environment, especially in our basic and senior high schools, is not a safe place. I think we have gotten to a point where the Ministry of Education and Education Service should sit down and then conclude that the school is never a safe place again for both students and teachers. Because when it even happens, we have to force the police before they do something. Since this thing happened, we've never heard that an arrest has been made. And it is becoming worrying. This is barbaric. This is unacceptable. This is uncalled for. That such things will be happening. We keep speaking about them, and then it is still happening. We cannot nip the problem in the bud. So I think as teacher unions will sit down and come up with a very comprehensive report or policy that Ghana Education Service must adopt and look into, so that we know where to place these very occurrences that have been happening in our schools.
Mr. Adokwe, we heard the association is also asking for the creation of a fund to support teachers who find themselves in this. Talk to us about this fund.
Definitely there should be something of that sort. Teachers who find themselves in this situation should be fully catered for and compensated. But that on the side doesn't mean that because we have a fund that will take care of teachers, then at the end of the day, then anybody at all has the right to go and attack a teacher. Because after all, there is a fund that will take care of you. No, that shouldn't be. It shouldn't just be a fund. It shouldn't just be maybe an allowance that will be given to teachers for their safety. But we should also look at a long-term solution of this particular issue. So definitely, yes, such teachers who find themselves in those situations must be compensated. And even teachers ought to receive some, maybe some monetary compensation or allowances because of things that might even happen to them. We will propose all these things. But at the same time, we need to look into it carefully and know where we will put our academic environment and how we will make sure that things are run smoothly in those institutions.
Going forward, what are some of the punitive measures you think we should implement to deter people from attacking these teachers? Recently, in the Kede case, the students were fined, and others said that it was not punitive enough, probably why we keep seeing these attacks on teachers increasing. Do you think so, and what should we be doing going forward?
Thank you. We are not the court. You see, we are not the court. So definitely, they go there, their parents can pay, and then they are left off the hook. They might even meet the teacher in town again. What would the teacher do? But we are also asking the security agencies to be more alert. I think the moral fabric of our society is really going down. It is really depreciating, and there is a need for parents, guardians, and all Ghanaians to speak up. Because if not, we are derailing the progress of our own children, and it will affect us in the future. So the teacher needs to be protected at all costs. The teacher needs to be protected at all costs.
Mr. Awule, thank you so much for talking to us. Adokwe Awule, he is Vice President of the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Let me tell you about something interesting, especially if you have suffered a broken heart before, or somebody made you a promise of marriage and did not honor that promise. Well, the Accra Circuit Court has ordered a businessman in his 60s to pay 200,000 Ghana cedis compensation to his former lover in a case of breach of promise to marry. The case was started as a suit for an ejectment order against the lady, ended with the court finding a breach of promise to marry and the imposition of a constructive trust over an East Legon property. Lord Idwasari has more in this report.
The case, presided over by Justice Sednam Kwadam, detailed a dispute stemming from an 11-year amorous relationship between 2013 and 2024. The businessman had sued his former lover and was seeking an order to eject her from a 2-bedroom apartment within a 6-unit property owned by the plaintiff at East Legon. According to evidence before the court, the property was not completed when the relationship began. The defendant actively supervised and managed the construction of the 6-unit property, while the plaintiff, who was not resident in Ghana, remitted money for the project. Upon completion, the plaintiff, who was her lover, asked the defendant to move into one of the 2-bedroom units in 2017. He then joined her upon his return to the country. In response to the suit against her, the defendant filed a countersuit, claiming the businessman had promised to marry her. She told the court that the promise caused her to leave her residence in Dansoman and fully commit to the relationship. As part of her evidence before the court, the defendant indicated that the plaintiff was listed as an in-law during her late father's funeral. He also contributed financially and wrote a beautiful tribute in the funeral brochure. She also noted that he gave her a ring and appointed her to act as a foreman on the construction project of a 6-unit house for about 4 years. In her judgment, Justice Kwadam, a High Court judge with the additional responsibility of a Circuit Court judge, indicated that, per the evidence before the court, there was indeed a promise to marry. The court found that the ring was not a casual gift, but was given to ward off other men's attention, which signaled a clear intent. The judge further noted that the defendant supervised construction for 4 years. The plaintiff openly associated himself with her family as an in-law without protest and further made contributions during her father's funeral. The court again held that there was overwhelming evidence of a promise to marry and that the businessman's conduct in 2024, which terminated the relationship, amounted to a breach. For the breach of promise to marry, the court awarded 50,000 Ghana cedis in general damages and 150,000 Ghana cedis in compensation, bringing the total award to 200,000 cedis. The full reasoning of the case will be available on February 24. Lord Idwasari, TVC News, Accra.
Lord Edward Cyrus report there. And so if somebody has made you a promise to marry you, you are doing all the wifely duties or husband duties, and the person does not honor that promise subsequently, you know where to take them. The slogan on the street is that don't do famanyame alone. You can also give it to your lawyers, and they'll handle it for you. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Let's move away from that. And the scrap metal industry in Ghana is once again under public scrutiny as dealers in the Greater Accra region push for reforms to sanitize their operations and rebuild trust with the wider society. In the Greater Accra region, industry players say stronger regulation and stakeholder engagement are key to ending accusations of theft while safeguarding thousands of livelihoods.
The Greater Accra Regional Scrap Dealers Association says it is concerned about the persistent accusations linking its members to theft of public metal infrastructure, including water meters belonging to the Ghana Water Limited, as well as guard rails, culvert coverings, street light poles, and telecommunication cables. According to the association, while some individuals within the trade have in the past been found culpable and jailed, the actions of a few should not define an entire sector that provides livelihoods for thousands.
Greater Accra here, the scrap dealers are so many, and most of them are not our members. You see, our people are those who are going with trucks, but those who are pushing the two-tied truck, they are not our people.
Some people even remove street light, and so far, all people, it's about sensitization. Because maybe, sorry to say, the person who is just pushing truck, buying anything on the street, he doesn't know what belongs to government or what belongs to PNT whatsoever.
In a bid to chart a new course, the association has held its maiden delegate conference, a significant milestone that brought together scrap dealers from across the region. The conference culminated in the election of a new regional chairman, Mohamed Swale, who together with other executives will steer the affairs of the association for the next 4 years. Association leaders say one of their immediate priorities is sustained engagement with key stakeholders, including state agencies and local authorities. They argue that many of the controversies surrounding the industry stem from a lack of clarity about which metallic products dealers are permitted to buy from the public.
I think we have to contact Ghana Police or water company or what do you call them, VRA. They should come and then educate us and our people what to buy and what not to buy, and what time to buy this, what time not to buy this, so that should in case a thing like that come up, they will resist from that.
Planned stakeholders dialogue, they say, will focus on educating members, strengthening internal controls, and promoting responsible sourcing of scrap materials. Beyond the economic value of the trade, the environmental cost of scrap activities remains a major concern. At Ouagadougou, often described as the final resting place for unwanted metals, both educated and uneducated Ghanaians earn a living scavenging and processing scrap. However, crude metals used to extract copper from insulated wires, including open burning, release large volumes of carbon dioxide and other toxic gases into the atmosphere. Workers, many without any form of protective gear, are exposed daily to hazardous emissions at the decommissioned landfill site.
When you buy a car, a scrap car, and you remove these wires from the car, we don't have alternative. And I'm saying this, we don't have alternative than for you to burn it. Then you have your wire. Now, police will come and say, stop the wire, don't burn it. But if the person take it and put it under his pavilion, what he's going to do with it? And that one is in the estimate of buying the car. They brought a machine so that we will peel the wires, the coat from the wire, and then leaving the wire alone. And when they brought the machine, the first very copper we put in the machine to do the processing of peeling the copper, the coat from the massa, it is still in the machine. When we are done, I'll go and show it to you.
Despite these challenges, executives of the association insist they are determined to change the narrative. They warn that any proposed ban on the exportation of scrap metals could have dire consequences for the local industry, potentially rendering thousands jobless.
Well, Stanley Nibleush reports there. Let's do other stories before we do business. Government has announced a new framework for the acquisition of state lands requiring the express approval of the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources before all sales can proceed. At a news conference to announce the reviewed framework aimed at ending indiscriminate sale of state lands, Sector Minister Kofi Boah also announced a task force to protect state lands. The 2024 elections and the subsequent transition into the government of President Mahama saw many allegations of the grabbing of state lands in the famous work undertaken by members of the Operation Recover All Loot Oral. State land acquisition and purchases dominated report submitted to the group. In the aftermath of the formation of government, a committee was set up to review the framework for the acquisition of state lands. And upon the completion of work, the committee found over 8,000 state land transactions in different categories. Announcing the reforms, Lands Minister stated no state land will be procured going forward without the express approval of the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Well, that is it. Let's do some business shortly. FM 92.7. Let's do some business news now. The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, has projected slight increase in price at the pumps effective today. This marks the second upward adjustment in petroleum prices this year, driven by a combination of a weakening local currency and a surge in global oil benchmarks. CEO of COMAC, Dr. Riverson, upon notes the increment is expected to be marginal. In other stories, telecommunications giant Telecel has treated students of the University of Ghana to an electrifying turn-up party as part of activities marking this year's Valentine's Day celebrations on campus. The event, which was transformed the university into a hub of music, dance, and youthful excitement, was packed with pure entertainment from start to finish.
The event initially showcased a number of emerging music talents, including Dreamer, Kwesi Algie, RD, Leo Vibes and Raven, alongside breathtaking dance routines from the campus choreography group Dance 360. As the night progressed, the energy intensified with performances from Lali and Lola before award-winning musician Kiddy mounted the stage.
If you're ready for Tony song, say no. Shut up and bend over.
His thrilling renditions of popular hits sent students into a frenzy, as many could not resist dancing and singing along to the tunes. A major highlight of the event was a talent competition involving 5 shortlisted finalists competing for a 10,000 cedi cash prize. Kelali, Big Man B and Joey showcased their musical abilities, while Richie Shea and Guy Pentop impressed with their dance performances. At the end of the contest, Kelali and Guy Pentop were adjudged winners and each received the cash prize to support their creative pursuits. The winners expressed gratitude to Telecel for providing a platform to showcase their talents to fellow students. Kelali believes the future is bright, while Guy Pentop says he will capitalize on the opportunity to further establish his craft.
For the people listening at home, I go by the name Kelali, that's Kelali. I'm a singer, songwriter, performer, and a student of the University of Ghana, Legon. It's amazing. I feel so blessed. I feel so grateful and thankful to everyone that helped me get to this point. I couldn't have done it without you guys. I couldn't have done it without God, my team. So yeah, I'm really grateful. It started off with a post from Telecel. Next 10 Up Star, they asked us to put out posts of us just showing what we can do, and people voted from there. They voted me into the top 8. After the top 8, voted me into the top 4, and tonight they voted me as the winner. They crowned me as the winner. So yeah, that's basically how I'm saying it like this. It's been much more difficult than I'm saying it, but this is basically how it went. Yeah.
Well, my name is Papa Sewach, probably known as the Boy Pento. Winning this program is going to help me a lot. The journey is not been easy, so winning this program is going to support me a lot.
The Telecel Turn-Up Party not only delivered unforgettable entertainment, but also reinforced the company's commitment to empower young talents, making the Valentine celebration at the University of Ghana both memorable and impactful. Stanley Niblel, 3FM, University of Ghana.
Well, let's go back to that earlier story and listen to the CEO of COMAC, Dr. Reverson, upon noting that the increment in fuel prices expected this week is going to be marginal.
Chamber of Oil Marketing.
We apologize for that audio. We'll bring you the story subsequently, but let us now do sports. Bilishen is standing by.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Shen. To our first story, Heart of Oak skipper Benjamin Asare has refused to concede ground in the title race, insisting the battle for the Ghana Premier League crown is far from over despite the gap to leaders Mediama. The Phobians trailed the Takwa Bay side by 5 points with 12 matches remaining, but Asare remains confident that momentum can quickly shift as the season enters its decisive stretch.
Because first to fifth, and first to fourth, all is about determination on the field of play. Because Ubona Nyamiya Adum now win matches. You know, bet me and say, bet me for league. But Nyamiya Adum now it's me for league, so it's a big opportunity. My and so far, so most of the players in they deserve. Say Nyamiya Adum now it's me for league. So once I win, I say it's me my performance in aggressive and as we tough. Now always matches there,
That was Benjamin Asare, the man of the match for the Hartford game against Kotoko, where Hearts won by a goal to nil. Meanwhile, attention now turns to the camp of Asante Kotoko, and this time the headlines are not about the Super Clash defeat, but developments on the managerial front. Reports indicate that the Porcupine Warriors, who recently parted ways with head coach Karim Titao, are close to reaching an agreement with a new long-term manager. For now, the team remains under the guidance of interim coach Nanae Prinzia of Owusu, who took charge of the 1-0 loss to 10-man Hartlepool.
Asante Kotoko are seriously in negotiations to appoint a former winner of the Ghana Premier League. The coach has been in Kumasi for the last 5 days. And negotiations are still ongoing. I will not be surprised if he's named in the course of this week. I will not be surprised if Kotoko names a former Ghana Premier League winner as the head coach of the club heading into the last part of the season.
That was Richard Champon from Akuma FM giving us updates on Kotoko's plan for the coaching staff. in the course of the week, stating that we could see a new permanent head coach of Asante Kotoko. Currently in the league table, Midiama are on top with 44 points, BBN Gold Star second with 39 points, Hartefuk third with 39, Aduana FC fourth with 37 points, and Asante Kotoko fifth with 35 points, currently trading Midiama by 9 points. At the bottom side, we have Young Apostles, who are 16th with 26 points, Hoyo United are 17th with 23 points, and 11 Wonders right at the bottom of the Ghana Premier League table with just 9 points in 22 matches so far this season. Now in Europe, the UEFA Champions League returns on Tuesday, 17th of February 2026, with 4 mouth-watering fixtures on the cards for you. So these are the fixtures for Tuesday in the Champions League. Galatasaray will play host to Juventus. Benfica will play host to Real Madrid. Dortmund will host Atalanta, and Monaco will play against PSG in the Champions League. So these are the fixtures for the UEFA Champions League on Tuesday. A lot to look forward to. But that's it for the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishen. We'll see you same time tomorrow, this time with more updates from the Champions League and more. So stay tuned.